Hi everybody, Namaste. I am Richa Mehta, host of Luxury Living with Ram Rattan Group. This is episode 5 and here we are another Saturday 1:30 p.m. with our prestigious guest. Who he is, let me just tell you. Introducing Himanshu Bhatia, a seasoned real estate investor and partner in one of the big fours. With a background in CA and BCom honors from SRCC DU. He brings a unique blend of financial acumen with strategic insight in the world of real estate. This and much more. Let me just put my hands together to welcome Himanshu Bhatia. Welcome, Himanshu.
Hi, Richa. Good afternoon. Thank you for
Good
the
afternoon.
very generous introduction.
We're quite generous because, of course, if I would have written it down, it would have been more than a page. But my team was really good in terms of just mentioning 2-3 lines about you.
Sure. Thank you so much.
So, Himanshu, straight away, I have a couple of questions, and then we have a small rapid fire round. You must have seen on television how rapid fire round really works. It is just, quickie questions and then quickie answers. But
Fire away.
before that, I would like the audience, the viewers who have joined us from Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube to
Mhm.
know a bit about you and to understand real estate better.
Okay.
Okay. The first one goes, how did you first get interested in real estate investment? And what motivated you to start in 2003?
Okay. So, Richa, I lost my dad pretty early in my life. So I used to live with my uncle. We're a typical Punjabi family where land was, sort of a precious asset to have in the family. That was reason one. Secondly, I started working with a big four, qualified when I was only 23 years old. I was not married, and I and my mom were the only two people in the house, so I had enough disposable income, so to speak. So uh, I read a lot. I had read a lot about how real estate had boomed with the development of infrastructure. And if you remember, 2002, 2003 was a time when India was really investing heavily in road network infrastructure, etc. Uh, Land is the only shrinking asset right now, or only real asset which is not growing anymore in laboratories. So I decided, that land is the way to go. That was one reason. Second reason was, as a person working in a big four, there are a lot of restrictions on us holding stock, securities, etc. So you can say I was very lazy. I did not want to, sort of get pre-approvals, keep updating my portfolio in the systems. Land, there are no such hassles. So I just started investing in land. That's how it all started in 2003. I've never looked back since then.
That's amazing. As a part, you just mentioned of being a partner in one of the big fours. How do you
Mhm.
balance your professional responsibility with real estate investments? Like for me, if I talk about me, of course, having a real estate investment with Ram Rattan Group came a bit later because I just completed my college. I started being on my own. It's just been 5 years. But
Mhm.
initially we start with the complicated portfolio of having SIPs into mutual funds and so on, and which I'm sure in one of the MNC, you have your own restrictions, like you mentioned. Then having FDs, which gives you a fixed rate of
Yeah.
return, and then I ventured into knowing that usme tax cut jata hai, and there's so many things which comes with it. So that's how I entered into land investment. What about you?
So, so when you are young, or when I was younger, the aspirations are higher. The land rate returns were way higher than any other land investment. So that's point number one. Second, you mentioned, how do I balance my portfolio, my
Right.
job responsibilities, family responsibilities, and real estate investments? Well, honestly, I think if you find the right partners, then real estate investments are not very difficult to manage. So I made some few basic ground principles for myself when I started investing in land, or real estate, and I've stuck to those. A few of those being, I don't do investments where, the legal title is not clear. I don't do investments that I cannot go and see. I cannot do investments that I think I cannot hold myself if the market were to go down. So I never invest for flipping. These were the basic principles I had set for myself way back in 2003 when I started investing. if you follow these basic principles, it's just a myth that real estate is a complicated field to get into. It's very difficult to manage things. I don't think that's true. You just need to find the right partners. You just need to have the right approach and stick to your principles.
I think very well said, because looks like the same stream which I am following for my life and for my investments.
Well, all the
अब
best.
एक बहुत ही important question. How have you been associated with Ram Rattan Group? How has been your association, since it's been a couple of years that you have associated with this group?
Oh no, it's actually more than that. So I made my first investment with Ram Rattan Group in 2016. So it's been 7, 8 years now. How I actually went about investing with Ram Rattan. So as I told you that I started investing in real estate from 2003. Uh, when you start first investing, you go to the very obvious choices of real assets, like you start buying residential plots, then you start buying residential apartments, then you start investing in retail assets, then you start investing in commercial or industrial land, etc. So I had done all of that. My wealth managers, I think it was IDFC or Carvi at that time, I don't remember, they used to push me a lot that I need to diversify, because there's a 95% of your portfolio is real assets. So you need to diversify, you need to start getting into the money market, start buying stock, debt, etc. So I took their advice, but partially. I diversified, but did not diversify out of real estate, but I diversified into agricultural land, farmland. The challenge with me, and this is something that I had actually started evaluating since 2012-13, but I could never get myself to invest in agricultural land because it's very difficult to deal with the farmers, to deal with the villagers, to get assurance on the legal title. Plus there is a lot of cash component gets involved in such transactions, which I'm not personally very comfortable with. So which is when I got introduced to Ram Rattan Group. One of my friends introduced me, and they said that this group actually works with professionals like you, where the legal titles are very clear. They take responsibility of ensuring land aggregation and giving you the possession, construction help, managing the land. There is no other complications that are generally coming with real estate assets involved. So it's all very clean. You just do bank transfers, get the land title clear, then there are people managing it. So that's really the key reasons, or these are the real key reasons why I got attracted towards Ram Rattan Group. As I said, I made my first investment in 2016 with Ram Rattan Group. Honestly, when I made that investment, I felt personally that I was paying almost 20-25% over the market price of the land that I could actually buy in that area. But on balance, when I looked at it, so buying a individual single, let's say 2 acre, 3 acre piece where I am the only one, first of all, getting the title clear, dealing with the villagers, etc., is a nightmare. Plus, living alone is not easy. I mean, we all talk about farm life. It's a fantasy, but it's not easy unless you are in a community. So that was the other reason why I got attracted towards that investment. I was very happy to pay that additional 30% because I was living in a community. There were almost 200 farms. In fact, when I remember I and my wife, when we had gone to see that place, we were walking around. I saw a couple of nameplates and I called them. They were my friends from my professional circle. And I was like, is this your farm? And they were like, what are you doing there? I was like, exactly what you are doing here. So, so yeah, I mean, that's how I got sort of invested with Ram Rattan. Community living, clear legal titles, no hanky panky stuff, not dealing with nuisance, because everything is just taken care of. So I think it just makes our life easy.
I think this is, I've been hearing this quite a lot, because living in a community gives you a sense of security as well, because there are a lot of things which are going haywire in real estate, especially, which you must have seen whichever part of Delhi NCR you go, there are small snippet which says, own a farmland in this amount, contact on this number. And there's so many fraudulent aspects which goes into it, and rightly said, because everybody would like to have a secure investment, to understand things better, to have a community to live in, to feel safe. It's like a second home away from home, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And plus, with Ram Rattan Group, the other experience I had was, like, I made an investment, but subsequently, I just felt uncomfortable. You know, I started hearing things about that particular place where I had invested. there was so much flexibility. I had an open conversation with Mr. Chaudhary, and I told him, I made the investment, I made the commitment, I'm not comfortable. He did not even hesitate. So he said, if you're not comfortable, we are not doing this, because for us, the comfort of our investors is paramount. So he offered me, he said, you either take your money back, or I'm launching a new project, you go there. So, I mean, this is what you look for in your long-term partners. So, it's knock on the wood, it's been going great for the last 7, 8 years, whatever.
Exactly. On this note, there is a small video which I would like the production team to play for us.
Sure.
There was a small video of the new project which is right making going viral all across. So my next question is similar to what you have a bit answered on this. That Himanshu, what is your memorable experience in terms of being a real estate investor? You have already mentioned in terms of the flexibility you got, in terms of the community aspect. Anything on the personal aspect? Have you taken your family to that area, or have you built that as your own home, or is it only for the investment purpose?
No, so you asked a lot of questions, Richa. So personal front, yes, I have taken my family. So we actually go a lot to Sitapur project of Ram Rattan Group, which is on the NH8. I love that place because it has a beautiful view of mountains. The mornings and evenings are blissful. If you've not been there, you should go there. So my family loves going there. I have not started building it up. I started planting trees, and we started working on the horticulture in our farmland in Sitapur on NH8. I had actually honestly moved to Canada. I was in Canada for the last 2.5 years due to my job. So we had put this on hold, the development on hold. But now that I'm back, it's been 6 months now, and we are very well settled back in India. It's definitely on my agenda to really start building it up, because I'm part of the community there. I keep seeing a lot of messages with a lot of people building their farmhouses there and started to move there. So we also certainly want to definitely do that.
Interesting, Himanshu, because especially एक लहर चली थी, especially during those pandemic and even after that, to move towards farm life, to
Right.
have serene view, and you already have having your dream life right in front of you. You already own it, because living next to having that mountain view, being
Yeah.
having trees around, doing organic farming and what not. I mean, when I say I feel excited, you're
Oh,
living
yeah.
that.
Absolutely. No, I'm invested in almost 4 or 5 projects with Ram Rattan Group, all in different locations, and all have their unique features. And one of the land investment I made, so you can't build up all of that, right? And plus, you also don't want to sort of corrupt the land, because if it's agricultural land, it has its own unique, you can say, features related to it. So we actually planted wheat on one of our farms, and we did all of organic. So it was not certified organic, because you have to keep the land untilled for 3 years, etc., etc. But when we started doing the farming, we decided not to use pesticides or fertilizers. So it was really, what can I say? I mean, it was a great feeling to see the first produce come, and the atta coming, the wheat coming to our house, and then we sending it to the local guy to do just basically piso that and make atta out of it. I can't remember what is the exact word for that, but it was a great feeling. It just happened. So you can't obviously develop all of these places as your own homes. So we decided to develop Sitapur and then start using the agricultural land the way it should be used.
That's great. So, one advice which you would like to give the youngsters who are looking out to invest in real estate.
Mhm. Okay, I can actually give a lot of advice, but since you asked for one advice, I think it's very important to start investing early. And you don't really need, it's a myth that real estate investment needs a lot of funds, right? There are, I think, investment opportunities available for all budget sizes. It's very important to start, even if you have a smaller budget, start investing small. And then as you grow and your financial strength grows, I think it's important that you keep consolidating or keep building upon that. That's one. Second, I'm sorry, you asked for one, but I'll give another one.
No.
I was always, um I'm not a huge fan of debt, but some level of debt is also good in your portfolio because it restricts your spending. Okay, so if you bind yourself to a commitment, uh, and don't take debt for luxury things in life, but take debt in creating tangible, sensible assets for you, like land, for example. So that's, I mean, these are the two advices I followed these. I started very early, as I said. I qualified in 2003, and that's when I made my first investment because I wanted to bind myself, and I wanted to start creating assets for my future security. Started small.
You can see the number of questions which are flowing because जैसे बोला जाता है ना ज्ञान जितना बांटो उतना अच्छा. Because of course everybody would like to hear knowing. Because एक तो education होती है जो हम पढ़ते हैं books में, दूसरा होती है living, hearing from the legend himself, hearing from the person who has lived all these years and have strategically used the money. So why not, Himanshu? I mean, I'm glad that you're sharing your insights, and everybody's really loving it. And I'm sure the questions which are flowing in, we will be taking it later after the rapid fire round.
Sure.
Moving on to the next question. The real market, the real estate trends really moves, and you will see a new thing coming in every day. Every day, the newspaper or maybe whatever social media platform you used, people are moving towards this. What are your
Mhm.
thoughts on the current real estate trend which is going on?
Um, See, I think there is right now, you are absolutely right. There is a lot of euphoria around real estate investment. Last 2 years have been great for the industry and for the investors. Having said that, I mean, it's a, it's not a conservative advice, but probably I would say, just out of experience, it's very important to, um, you know, keep yourself grounded when there is so much euphoria around you. As I said earlier, my one of the principles that I followed was, it has to be a solid, legally sound investment. Never get into anything which can turn messy. Second, just buy that piece of land or real estate that you can hold if the market were to tank. I never invested for flipping in short term, and that's why I was never under pressure, and I've enjoyed my real estate investing. I have actually seen a lot of cases, a lot of my friends, sort of over leverage themselves, spread themselves too thin, thinking that the trend will continue. But it's very unpredictable, right? I mean, who knew that post COVID the real estate is actually going to come back so strongly, that to residential. So again, don't commit yourself to investments that you cannot hold.
Right, rightly said. And I mean, I also have those friends who go with the trend and then they go deep down their pockets to make sure that trends really work for them. But it does, I mean, it does go either way. The
True. Yeah.
last question before we move on to the most awaited rapid fire round.
Mhm.
How do you see technology impacting the real estate industry in the coming years?
Oh, actually, in fact, last few years have been great because I think when it comes to legal title, etc., technology is playing, like blockchain technology in most of the parts of India has already been introduced, which makes it so easy to check and verify the legal titles, etc. So I think as long as you can use it or you know how to use it, it is an amazing asset to real estate investment for investors, retail investors like us. And I think it'll just keep going, getting better, because you can get all the information. You don't now have to rely on the brokers and pay the patwaris and the government officials to get information. It's all available. It's so easy now.
It is easy. Technology, specifically on Instagram influencers, and there's so many ways you can just pick up your phone and check as to what is in trend, how things can really work, how the things will be shaping up. Google is just, I mean, whatever you need in your life, you need to type it down and the Google will get it for you within jiffy, within seconds.
Okay, yeah, so you're on that side of the technology. I was more on the AI, the
I,
machine
I,
learning.
I just completed as to how we do it, how things are really shaping up these days. But of course, everything has its ups and downs. Adverse effects
Mhm.
are there. If you go too much, you rely too much on the information which is there on the social media platforms.
Correct. So the technology, as I said, defined it, and the technology that you defined it, I think if people use the combination of that
Then it's
judiciously, I think it'll work great for the investors.
yes. Now moving on to a rapid fire round. We have made it. So this is season one of this year. So हमने
Mhm.
बहुत ही अच्छे questions form करें. And I
Sure.
think you are also a lucky one because this is episode 5. So we have made it too much, not going to your personal aspect, just, sticking to real estate, sticking to what you do, sticking to your career life. So you're ready?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Fire away.
Perfect. So I'm gonna ask you a question, and you just need to answer quickly.
Okay.
City life or farm life?
Farm life with access to city life.
Best book you have read so far? Are you a book person?
Oh, I'm a book lover, so it's very difficult to pinpoint one, but I would say if I have to stick my neck out, Kite Runner.
Kite running is nice. Favorite cricket team? India को छोड़ के.
अरे नहीं. Okay, India को छोड़ के New Zealand, but India always, I mean, true blood Indian cricket
And
fan.
you watch IPL? In IPL?
I don't watch IPL because I'm a purist. I love test matches, so I hate IPL.
You love test matches?
I love test matches. I can sit in front of my TV, watch 5 days of cricket, each ball bowled in a day.
My brother is like that. And then, even if it's as Afghanistan versus I don't know who, he watches all kind of matches. He's a cricket lover and he watched all kind of matches. It happens. But you are like
Mhm.
test matches. For me, when I was small, in fact till now, test match particularly मुझे personally boring लगते हैं because wearing white outfit to me looks quite boring. तो मैंने तो जिंदगी में टेस्ट मैच नहीं देखा. IPL of course and the India Pakistan match I watched.
It's Richa, test matches are beautiful. The way the bowlers set up a batsman to get them out, the way the batsmen deal with that, it's an art. It's like symphony. So I love that. Anyway,
That's
yeah,
the technical part of it.
sure.
One word to describe your investment strategy. What is your investment strategy?
One word to describe my okay, grounded is what I would say.
Nicely said. One line about organic farming trend. You know that organic farming really came into the picture after pandemic. Of course, people were doing it before as well. But then, one line about organic farming to you.
I think it's going to be the way of life in the next coming few years.
Right. Farm life for living or for investment? You've already answered that, but
I would say both. I mean, as I
if you
said
own
earlier,
one farm,
say that again.
if you have one farm, would you be, having your second home away from home, or would you keep it? Because of course, building a farm and then investing further to build a house and other things which you mentioned, it
Yeah.
really, pulls your pocket. So, would
Uh-huh.
you be having it for living or for investment only?
For living, for living. If it's just one farm, it's for living.
The last one, your go-to productivity tip as a busy professional investor. How do you be? How are you so productive?
Find the right people to work with. Find the right partners. You can't do everything on your own, so you just need to find the right people, stick to them, trust them, build a faith, build a partnership. Camaraderie always works. It has done wonders for me. The broker that started working with me in 2003, I still work with him. And as I said, same goes for Ram Rattan. I've been investing with them since 2016. So find the right people to work with.
In the last chat show, the guest was there and he said that whichever company I move my team along with me. Because he said you need to stick to your people and the way you work, you can only
Yeah.
work with the team which you have worked all throughout your life.
Absolutely, Richa. At the end of the day, we are all social animals, right? So we need our own ecosystem that we've developed, and I think it's the best way. So अगर आप if I may use हिंदी, ऐसा बोला जाता है that एक पौधे को उठाकर अगर आप छोटे पौधे को उठाकर कहीं भी लगाया जा सकता है, एक बड़ा पेड़ जब होता है उसे जब उठाकर कहीं लगाते हैं ना तो उसके आसपास का इकोसिस्टम भी ले जाना पड़ता है, तभी वो पेड़ सरवाइव कर पाता है, अदरवाइज वो पेड़ मर जाता है. So I think it just goes back to what your previous guest said, that he moves with his team. Similarly, in my case, I moved asset classes, but I've not let go of my past relationships. So like for example, I know if I have to make a residential investment, I rely on one person. For farmland, I rely on one person. For industrial land, I rely on one person. That's how my network has grown.
Rightly said. And now we move on to our viewers' questions. Since I saw a lot of them flowing up, we quickly take two, three questions. Can we display the first question, please? So Sakshi says, can you share any strategies you used to add, which used to add value to properties and maximize return on your investments?
Okay, so Sakshi, it's very difficult to just sort of come up with just one strategy. But as I said, um, if you go back into history, the First World War, the Second World War, um, real estate value appreciation has followed infrastructure development. And I was a sort of a good history student, so an economic student. So when I had money and I wanted to invest, I picked up places where I felt the infrastructure development is moving towards. In 2002, if you remember, Atal Bihari Vajpayee government, just before they were voted out, they had introduced the golden quadrilateral, which is why I started investing in Gurgaon and towards NH8. I think that's one strategy. Just follow the infrastructure development. It usually pays. Second, it's not a strategy, it's a tip. I'm being repetitive here, but just go see the investment, go with your vibes, put in your money in an investment that you think you can hold. Leverage and hold, or use your own funds and hold, but something that you can hold.
Sakshi, I think Himanshu has categorically answered your question. And thank you for asking your question, Sakshi. So, moving on to the next question, which is from Natura. He says, how do you prioritize sustainability and environment friendly practices in your real estate projects?
Sure. Okay. So I think I already answered that. So, like for example, in the farmhouse that I'm developing for my living, we've already started first working on the horticulture part. So the trees, nature is an essential part of farm life. The other invest properties that I bought for investment purposes, we are tilling that land. We are actually depending on the seasonal, like we sow wheat, we sow mustard. So that's what we do. So that's how we prioritize sustainability and environmental friendly practices in my real estate projects. The other thing, I was very keen to buy a house in hills. I had started making investments in agricultural land before the pandemic. So when the pandemic hit, I wanted to go to the hills. I went there, but the way those projects are being developed, mountains are being cut, trees are being cut, I could not bring myself to invest there. So personally, I decided whatever little contribution I can make to the environment sustainability, I will do that, and I will not buy a house in hills.
Okay. So, moving on to the next question, which is by Devashish. He says, you said you started investing way back in 2003. What
Yeah.
market change do you see currently after 23 years? Did you have so many investment options back then?
No, no, it was like the only thing you could think of buying was, okay, find a good residential plot where there is little risk of squatting. There is somebody who would take care of your land, or either it is closer to your house so that you can take care of your land. It was a challenge back then. I could not even think of investing in agricultural land or farmhouse land at that time. But yeah, things have changed so much. There are so many options now. And as I said, which is why when I decided in 2015 that I need to invest in agricultural land, I started finding the right people, and I ended up doing that. In 2003, it was just not possible, I guess.
In fact, because I also remember Papa used to invest, like you said. I mean, uptrend आया है इतनी सारी. There are so many ways you can invest. पता नहीं कितनों पर rely करे क्या ना करे. तभी people go back to the land investment because पता है कि वो तो yield करेगी ही in terms of having the right returns for your investment. Thanks, Devashish, for asking this question. Can we move on to the next one, please? Divya asks, looking ahead, what are your long-term goals or aspirations with the realm of real estate investment?
Okay, long-term aspiration, obviously, I mean, in very crude way, just keep making money, keep getting returns that beat the market returns, like the stock market returns. Um, the other thing is, again, as I said, that I need to. So right now, obviously, when I started investing, I was pretty young. So I started investing in a lot of places sporadically. In the last couple of years, thankfully, again, with the help of or guidance of Mr. Chaudhary at Ram Rattan Group, I've started, sort of consolidating bigger chunks of land so that it's easier to manage. Plus, I think it brings in more value because if you own, let's say, for example, bigger chunk, and then you get your friends and family also to invest in that nearby areas, it becomes a larger contiguous chunk of land, and then you can think of other ways of monetizing that land rather than just flipping and selling, right? So that's what my long term aspiration is now. It has transformed a little bit from where I was 5 years ago.
Divya herself is a real estate consultant, and I think this very much answers a lot of questions which comes to her specifically when people talk about long-term goals and aspirations. Thanks, Divya, for taking out time to hear us and asking this question. The last question, as of course the questions might keep coming in, but then I think taking the time consideration, we'll take this last question. So Ria asked, what role do you believe networking and building professional relationship plays in the success of real estate investor?
A lot. I think we talked about this, Richa, a little bit, but I'll reiterate. So there are two ways to look at your network and professional relationships. One is finding the right partners who can facilitate your investments, which can take away the stress from you, because okay, if I invest with this person or through this person, then I know that that person is reliable, the guidance is going to be correct. So that's one aspect of building your professional relationship for real estate, from a real estate standpoint. The second is, as I said, that when you're specifically looking at agricultural investment or farmland investment, etc., what I have done is, because of my network, I have invested with friends and family. The point that I was just making. So that's the second aspect, right? You take your professional relationships to a different level to say that, okay, we will become not co-investors in the way that there is joint holding in that land, but at least, if I own, let's say, 10 acres, another friend of mine holds another 10 acres contiguous, then between the two of us we have a much bigger chunk of land, which is 20 acres. So it helps you monetize it much better. I think that's the second aspect of a professional relationship that works very well for a real estate investor.
ऐसे फ्रेंड्स हमें भी मिलवाओ हिमांशु, 10 acres holding 10 acres along along with you holding 10 acres.
You got lakhs of followers. It's like you don't need my help to find friends and
I don't know, but more than you only said networking is building the net worth, so why not?
absolutely, absolutely.
But thank you so much, Himanshu, for joining in. It was half an hour of insightful information, and I seriously say you are true inspiration to all of us who has strategically, managed your investment right and still going on having a second home plus a series of investments which are yielding you your dream life. Thank you so
Well,
much. Any last words before we end the show? Hope you enjoyed this half an hour.
no, I loved it. Real estate has been very close to my heart. I genuinely enjoy it as a hobby. So yeah, I mean, thank you so much for having me on the show. And the last words, thank you so much to you personally. I mean, you have a way with words, very generous with your words about me. So thank you so much. It's humbling to hear all these things, but it was great having coming here on the show. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Himanshu, once again. And here we are with the episode five of Luxury Living with Ram Rattan Group. Thank you, Himanshu, for taking out time today. And I am going to meet you again tomorrow, next Saturday, 1:30 p.m. Thank you.